Hey, what's going on, everyone? NoZoupForYou here, and today we're going to talk about the Tier 8 Premium Destroyer Orkan, which is a pan-European destroyer. And I'm actually very pleased that this destroyer is coming out. I'm always a fan when we get new destroyers that add something to the game. And I feel as of late, destroyers have been kind of in a weird situation where, you know, we've just had a lot of other very strong cruisers coming out, and it's been hard to combat everything going on if you're in a destroyer. I think there's definitely a lot of pain felt by destroyer players right now, and, you know, let's mention aircraft carriers as well. They're kind of adding to that pain also. So there's a lot of things going against destroyers right now. But in the right hands, a good destroyer can be used to devastating effect. And I have a feeling that the Orkan is going to find its way into many players' hands, and many players are actually going to like this destroyer a lot. I know right now I'm already enjoying it. And I won't say it's the most, I guess, devastating and damage-causing destroyer I've played, but there is a lot of utility to this destroyer, an absolute lot of utility that is going to fit in great with the Tier 8 meta, right around Tier 9 as well, and when you're top tier, this destroyer is actually going to be pretty powerful. So let's talk about some of the characteristics of this ship. It's got 15,700 HP, you've got 3 turrets with dual 120mm guns. Those have a maximum firing range of 11.6 kilometers. Your torpedoes, now this is the interesting part, you only have one launcher that has 4 torpedoes on it, so you've got a quad launcher right there. Maximum range on these is going to be 12 kilometers. But these things are fast. We're talking 76 knot fast. That's blazing fast right there, and I happen to like that a lot. Also, the good thing about these torpedoes is even though you've only got one launcher, you've got a reload time of 70 seconds, and you can get that even lower. So, though you only have one launcher, these torpedo tubes load very, very quickly. They've got great range, and they've got phenomenal speed on them. Your maximum speed in the Orkan is 35 knots. You got a turning circle radius of 590 meters. You got a rudder shift time of 3.7 seconds. Detectability of 7 kilometers, but you can get that down to about 5.5 kilometers, which is pretty good. I think the total's 5.6 if I recall. Now, let's talk consumables, because the consumables are what makes this ship what it is. First and foremost, you got your damage control and your engine boost. No surprise there. You don't have smoke on this destroyer, but that's not a problem. You've got 2 awesome things going for it right now. You've got Repair Party, which, hey, a Tier 8 Repair Party is golden. The ability to regenerate your health is awesome. You also have Surveillance Radar, and this radar is 7.5 kilometers. So we've got some pretty stout radar here with repair capabilities. This means that this destroyer is excellent for hunting and killing. Though, I do want to point out that its main batteries are not really gunboat-esque. You've got a reload time of 4.5 seconds on these. So, it's kind of slow reloading, but they do a fair amount of damage because they are 120 millimeters. So, despite the slow loading, you can do some significant damage, especially if you catch a destroyer unawares. And this leads us to talking about the overall feel and ability of this destroyer. Yes, you can call yourself the Orkan Man. You can terminate other destroyers. I mean, this ship is fun. It's a good destroyer. It's got a lot of capabilities to it. It's a multi-function, multi-role destroyer. It doesn't excel in any one category, but it is very good in every category. It's not a gunboat, but you got good guns. It's not a torp boat, but you've got fast reloading torpedoes, and they just happen to be fast as well with really good range. But that's tempered by the fact that you only have one launcher. Now I will say, in regards to the torpedoes, I would like to see them do a tad more damage. I find the damage to be lacking in them. You're only going to do 10,700 damage maximum per torpedo hit, which I would like to be a little higher, maybe around 13,000. But the fact that they reload so quick, they go so far, so fast, you know, I can see this damage being okay. I'm not too upset about that. And the flooding chance on them is 173%. So, you're going to get floods on this thing. You're going to get floods on them. So, really good torpedoes right there. So, I mean, this destroyer has it all. Plus, when you add the radar to it, I mean, you have the ability to go out there and just absolutely spook other destroyers. I mean, this really, in a way, reminds me of the Loyang. It's very similar to the Loyang. You don't have deep water torps on this thing. You got regular good old torpedoes. But since this is pan-European, you're not going to get the deep waters. It's not pan-Asian. Pan-European. Which brings us to an interesting point right here. I do want to mention this. The Orkan was originally a British destroyer. It was the HMS Myrmidon. And that has a very Lord of the Rings, Tolkien type of name to it. Myrmidon. Very, very interesting. And that actually is an ancient nation of Greek mythology. So, yeah, you can see why it sounds like a Tolkien name. It's made up. It's made up Greek mythology right there. But after this ship belonged to the British, it was transferred over to Poland in 1942, where it served out the rest of its active service before being sunk on October 8th, 1943. So little history segue right there. The ship was sunk by U-378 while escorting a convoy. Very unfortunate. But yeah, back to the ship itself. Yes, it is a multi-role destroyer. You can have a lot of fun in this destroyer. It handles pretty good. You've got some good torps on it. You've got some decent guns on it. You can go out and hunt other destroyers, especially if you're operating with another cruiser or another destroyer, one that has the gunfire capability. You just go out and pop that radar and bam. It's also good for locating other ships that might be hiding behind mountains as well, so it has a multi-role function to it. And if you do happen to go one-on-one against another destroyer, chances are that destroyer, especially if it's a tier 8 destroyer, isn't going to have heals on it, unless of course it's a certain nation. If it doesn't, you have an advantage right there, because you can evade, you can add more health to your ship, and get back at it. So overall, I'm very pleased that this destroyer has come along. It's been a long time since I've got my hands on a destroyer that I felt can actually hang with the current meta of the game, with all the cruisers, with all the aircraft and everything else. And I think the Orkan is what the majority of the ships or the destroyers are going to be headed towards in the future. I think there's more of a place right now for these multi-role destroyers that have the ability to hang back, heal, hunt, use radar, everything else. It's got a lot of tools in its arsenal, and that's really, really good for itself. So I think this destroyer, the Orkan, is going to find its way into many players' hands. Again, want to remind everyone that this is a work in progress. Everything is subject to change. I hope they don't change it too much, though. Again, if they change anything, I'd like to see them change the torps on this thing, because I do feel that their damage dealt is just a tad bit lower than I would like. But once again, these reload very fast. Guns feel good on it. They're not super fast to reload, but if they were any faster, it might be a little unfair because you got those heals. So all in all, you know, this work in progress ship has been a lot of fun to play, and I'm really looking forward to the final product coming out. And I think it's overall good for the game too. We need more destroyers. We need more destroyer players out there. I still feel destroyers are not necessarily neglected, but I feel with everything going on, players have just been kind of dissuaded from playing them. But with the Orkan, it has great survivability, and I think that's very important in this current meta right now. So this has been a preview of the Orkan, Tier 8 Pan-European ship, coming soon at some point. Hope y'all are doing great. I've been suffering from the daylight savings change with these babies and everything else. It's been a madhouse in here, but it's good. It's good. I'll catch y'all later. Zoop out.